Hello, everyone. This is Chala Dinkoy, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert. It's like so hot outside. Well, it's not actually hot outside. It's actually very humid. There's like a 10-degree difference between the actual temperature and the humidity. So, welcome to Tuesday Tea Time with Chala, and welcome to summer in Toronto. For those of you celebrating the 4th of July and you've taken the week off, I'm so happy for you. No such thing here. Our Canada Day was the first of the month. And so that is far behind us, and we are back to work and back at it. So here I am having my pseudo tea. It's actually cold. So let me take a sip. It's quite the challenge to get your workout when it's so high. But yeah, ventilation and all sorts of cold air constructions is your friend. I can't even speak. So how am I going to do Tuesday Tea Time with Chal? I have no idea. Okay. And imagine that the topic is how to persuade in business. How to persuade in business. You have to persuade a lot of people when you have a business. You have to persuade people to work with you. I just met for lunch with one of my dear friends, and she just became a realtor. And like she's saying how difficult it is to get clients and how competitive it is, and how the people that are supposed to be helping her and mentoring her are even her competitors, because even in the same office everybody's doing realty. So when you own a business, when you have a business of your own, persuasion becomes your mother tongue. Like you have to master it. You have to persuade people to work with you. You have to persuade people to work for you, and then you have to persuade people to sell to you. Even your vendors, you have to be persuasive. So how is it that you can do that? Well, I put some thought behind this because I've even actually written a book, the one that you guys saw me do TV appearances for, and it's called How to Make Anyone Like You in 7 Seconds or Less. And that's just a very truncated version of how to persuade people to like you. And this is, again, likability is a huge factor in how you persuade people. So how do you get people to do that? So the first way to persuade anyone to do anything is to think about their needs first. So know your audience's pain, and don't just guess it, but find out and research it. And in the business context, one of the things that we do with my clients is that, of course, the first phase is to do the research about the pain, and to do it in silos of how they hang out in large numbers, which is by industry or interest group, so that we can target them in large numbers. So I'm going to go back to my friend, the realtor that I took out to for her birthday lunch, that she's finding it so difficult. Like a year ago when she started, I had told her, and people never take a friend's advice, right? But I had told her, I think you need to niche. It's one of the biggest mistakes that I see in that industry, that nobody ever niches. And so you don't really ever have one target that you market towards. So that she was, networking with everybody, and not everybody was her cup of tea. And so she's really disillusioned by the kind of people that she has to network with or work with, because everybody's coming to her and she's not happy with that. So again, if you don't target, you don't know what their pain is, and you don't know how to speak to their pain when you do speak to them. Therefore, you are not an effective influencer, marketer, and you can't persuade them. So that's like number one of any type of interaction that you have, whether it's a one-on-one, whether it's a keynote, it's a speech, it's a one-to-many, you're on a stage, it's a blog that you're writing, again, it's one-to-many, it's your website, any kind of messaging. It could be a voicemail, or it could be an email. If it's not about them, you've already lost. And if it's not about their problems, you've lost again. So that's why you can't persuade if you don't know who you're targeting and what their problems are. The second way to persuade in business is talk only about them and their pain. Stop droning on about you and your services and what your needs are. I mean, some businesses that I teach this to are so and I'm not talking about the one-on-one clients, but when I'm doing workshops, they're so backwards about they have the concept of pain so backwards that when I ask them what is the pain, they start giving me their pain. And then I have to take a step back and say, okay, I'm not talking about what your problems are. I need to know who your target is and what their problems are. So again, goes back to number one, but it's a little bit more involved in that it just have self amnesia, what I call self amnesia. So stop talking about what you prefer, what you like, who you are, what you sell. It's not about you, and it's not about what your life is. So the third point of how to persuade in business is in any kind of interaction or any kind of interface, you need to rehearse your points that you're trying to get across to persuade someone to do something in a flow. So first start with, what is the problem that you can help with? And why is it a problem in the first place? So you can use that statistics in the market to give size and scope to the problem. You can use examples of their competitors or things in the news that have happened to prove why this is a problem. And of course, the next thing you want to talk about in this flow is why their existing solutions aren't working. And then next is talk about how you've helped other people in that same pain. Now, this could take the form of just a regular conversation. This could be a formal sales meeting. This could be an actual presentation where you lay out this form. This could be an interview on TV, like what I do. I get out all my points in a flow and then I shut up. So it has to have a cohesive and it's like a psychologically triggering flow of what is the problem, which is the pain, and reiterating the pain, reminding of the pain, giving market stats about why everybody else is in that same kind of pain. So that doesn't make them feel like they're an oddity. It makes them feel like you know what you're talking about because you're talking about statistics and how everybody is in the same boat and how you can help. Those are the things that position you to be able to persuade someone in business. Now, if you're talking to, this is especially when you're talking to prospects, when you're talking to employees, all the same things apply, right? You think about what is their problem, why is it what they're doing isn't working, and how can you help them solve that problem with this, starting with this conversation. And then of course suppliers, what is their problem, how can you help them, even though you're buying from them and they're supposed to be solving your problems. I think persuasion can be done in exactly the same way for every different person and interaction that you're trying to persuade. I really feel that it's just, these are like fundamentals. The fourth point I have is don't get distracted and stick to the point. In a lot of my clients, when they tape their sales meetings and they send it to me and I'm listening to it, they get off track. They lose sight of the actual flow. They get very excited about what they do, and so they get passionate and talk deeply about what they do, which takes them off course. And again, of course, they're talking about themselves and their product. So other cases, we've had clients try to go deeper into the client's pain, and it doesn't necessitate at that point. It just prolongs and elongates the process, and it makes them lose control of the time. So don't get distracted when you're trying to message, to persuade. Stick to the main points, stick to the actual strategies that I'm talking about, and stick to the flow. Okay. And remember, it's always about them. I mean, I want you to like write that either in your brain or somewhere where you work, like above where you work. It's like, it's about them. All right. Lastly, the art of persuasion. And I even use this with my little guy. He's 13. And believe me, I have to persuade him to do everything, to do anything and everything. I have to persuade him to take out the garbage. I have to persuade him to eat. I have to persuade him to just, even go play. So here's how you do it. It's called succinct storytelling. You tell little stories that are relevant to them and their pain. So whatever it is that they want, whatever their problem is. So for example, with a client, if what they want is more visibility and, their problem is that they're too shy. I'm just making it up right on the fly as we go. and you're a PR agency and you're trying to persuade them that, you know, to be more visible. So what you could do is talk about how most people are in that kind of discomfort, uncomfort, and they're scared of being visible because they're scared of being judged. And then you offer them tactics and reasons why it's very important for them. And then maybe you try to reposition it as educating the people that the community they're trying to serve. You relate it back to their original goals of maybe succession planning for feeding their family, feeding their employees, whatever it is. Tell succinct stories about somebody else that you worked with who was in that same exact pain, how you helped them get over that pain, and what their results were. And that's it. Succinct stories can be baked into any kind of, again, one-on-one interaction, one-to-many speeches. It could be, on podcasts, I tell stories and stories and stories. It's in presentation decks. It's in sales slides. Succinct stories. Boom, boom, boom. Succinct. What was the problem? What you did to solve it, and what the results were. So if you do these 5 things, I promise you will be more persuasive no matter who your audience is and no matter what your objective is. So hopefully that helps, and hopefully you're enjoying the very hot, humid day, and your hair is doing better things than mine, and you're exercising, and maybe you're still celebrating, but have fun, and I will see you when you get back next Tuesday. All the best, everyone.